Now at 9, we'll hear from a local business owner about confusion surrounding changes to Kansas's failed food sales tax, plus some tips from a local expert about saving for retirement. And
House Republicans are gearing up for investigations as one of their own faces controversy of his own making. I'm Mather Rivera in Washington with that story coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. The new year starts off with new confusion over food tax in the state of Kansas. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly's Axe the Food Tax plan is lowering the sale tax for non-prepared food. However, KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke to one business owner who says that the state considers non-prepared food is confusing.
For Kansas businesses such as grocery stores, adjusting to the new sales tax rate for non-prepared food has been smooth. However, businesses that sell a mixture of prepared and non-prepared food, the adjustment hasn't been easy.
There's so many different contraindications and conflictions between the descriptions and the specifications of the items that we're selling that it causes so much confusion.
Most of the confusion comes from understanding what is considered prepared and non-prepared food according to state guidelines. Food is considered prepared when it is heated by the seller, mixing the food for sale as a single item, or providing utensils with the food. Prepared food is not granted the reduced food sales tax.
A package of mints that's already prepackaged, that has a barcode and has a nutritional label, is considered a reduced tax rate item. But a package of candy, like chocolate pecans, that we repackage to offer, as a value-added item here, is a full tax rate.
The confusion starts with the businesses, but doesn't end there. I reached out to county and state government for clarification, but was unable to get any clarification. In fact, some that I spoke to at the state level told me they couldn't answer my questions before transferring my call.
It would be extremely beneficial if the state would put on classes and breakout section where we could actually have a question and answer session and ask them specifics. And until they do that, not everybody is going to be on the same page.
Reporting in Metcalfe, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
KOAM reached out to the Kansas Department of Revenue and was transferred 3 times. We were then told we would receive a call back from someone who could then answer our questions. We also left a message with the governor's office and haven't heard back. All right, we move to weather now. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us.
Well, it actually turned out to be another mild day for us today. A lot of clouds, but temperatures great as we went up into the, mid-60s for afternoon highs. But it looks like still we're mainly into the mid-50s, but we are going to start to cool down. We have a front that is working through. It's actually to our south, so you can see a northerly wind now, and these winds are really going to start to pick up as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. Also, look at the rain starting to develop. Most of this is not reaching the ground. I think this entire batch, in a sense, is going to push through, and not many of us will pick up rain as we go through the next few hours, but we will try to get a little band of snow in here late tonight into tomorrow morning, plus the winds are really going to increase. So it looks pretty good for the next couple hours, just some isolated showers, and then look at the band of snow that starts to build in late tonight into the morning hours. Of course, we're going to break this down for you here in just a bit.
We want to clarify a story we told you yesterday regarding a plea deal made by Jimmy Jean Kelly Jr. Kelly previously claimed Tony Moran took a gun and shot herself in the head before he shot her in the torso. In court documents last week, Kelly admitted to firing both shots himself and pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. How are you planning for retirement? Co-workers are trying to help a local Walmart employee be able to retire. KOAM's Carrie Worthen has more about their plans and what you need to do to prepare.
Introduce yourself.
This is the Padre coming to you from Walmart on the North Pole.
Bruce Winch, or Padre as he's known, is a Joplin Walmart door greeter. He has been working at Walmart for almost 2 years now. Co-workers say he puts a smile on everyone's face.
I've always loved him, and everybody's always loved him. He's always grateful. He's always greeting you, asking your day. But Padre always has the love from Walmart associates, and even our customers.
Yes, it's cold today.
The 75-year-old's coworkers set up a GoFundMe to help him retire because he doesn't have the money to do so.
For me to help him in any way I could, it makes me feel like a good person, you know, and I feel like he'll be able to finally get that ease and rest for him and his wife so he doesn't have to struggle consistently.
Pittsburgh financial advisor Steve McGravin told me that preparing for retirement is mostly about saving.
When you're looking for retirement, the best thing to do is start saving early and often as possible. The earlier you can start, the better off you're going to be in the long run.
McGravin also said there's other things to watch.
The other thing we see is probably not investing properly. So that's where, even though you're not retirement age, it's also good to have a plan at a younger age to try to set the goal to try to get to that retirement age with a nice nest egg.
Judy Sykes retired 15 years ago at the age of 65. She still works part-time to help her and her husband.
I've worked a little bit off and on. I am working now 4 days a week part-time. And we use that money for our social affairs, things to do for fun. If we didn't have that, we would be living very close to the bone.
Well, I want to end up in 5 years.
Yes.
I hope not the grave, but I'd like to go to retirement for the third time.
Spicer hopes that they're able to help Padre.
We love him, and hopefully you get to retire soon.
In Joplin, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
You can help Padre by clicking the link to Carrie's story on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. The Downtown Joplin Alliance is kicking off the new year with a networking event. It's called Downtown Now and took place at the new Cornell complex. It gives business owners and residents a chance to connect and learn more about what's happening.
It's what builds the sense of community, that sense of place and belonging. There's no downtown like Joplin's downtown anywhere else. You know, it's the only place that you can go and get these buildings and get that. You can't build a historic building, and so that connection, that sense of place, that sense of belonging, that sense of continuity is so important.
The Alliance hopes to host more Downtown Now events in the future. Freeman Health System is making sure its employees are able to stay healthy. They hosted a fitness fair with 26 vendors showcasing health benefits to Freeman employees. Those vendors included fitness centers, nutrition services, and health organizations.
One thing is because they're so valuable. Our employees are valuable to us. We want them to take care of themselves as well as our patients. So, you know, it's like putting the oxygen mask on a child if you're on the airplane, putting it on yourself first before them. We want to make sure that our staff take care of themselves so they can be the best to our patients and to their families.
Employees who attended the fair were also entered to win door prizes. The discovery of classified documents in an old office for President Biden's think tank has triggered calls for investigation, especially now that the Republicans are back in power in the House. But that probe comes as calls to investigate one of their own members also grow. Fox's Madeline Rivera reports from Washington.
Embattled New York Republican Congressman George Santos is off to a chaotic start in Congress. Nassau County Republicans are pushing for him to step down after he admitted to lying about parts of his professional and personal background.
The lies George Santos told are too numerous to count.
On Capitol Hill, similar calls are reverberating among Democrats and some Republicans. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says Santos will ultimately have to answer to his constituents.
The voters elected him to serve. If there is a concern, he has to go through the ethics. We'll let him move through that.
Santos says he will not resign, and he's not the only one Congress is interested in. Newly empowered House Republicans are preparing to launch a series of probes. New on their list, the investigation into President Biden's handling of classified documents, some of which were found in his former D.C. office in November.
Joe Biden was quick to condemn the president and call the president irresponsible for having classified documents and having them in an insecure location. So, he didn't seem to be as outraged over his own wrongdoing.
He was surprised to learn about the records had been there. Again, he believes that the lawyers did the right thing, and they immediately turned them over to the archives.
House Republicans could also launch investigations into Hunter Biden's business dealings, big tech, and even the origins of COVID. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Chris Pursley served in the U.S. Army from 2002 to 2005. The Carthage, Missouri native was stationed in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Africa as part of the 112th Signal Battalion. He received a Bronze Star, a Joint Service Commendation Medal, and 2 Army Achievement Medals, among other awards. We salute Chris Pursley, a four-state hero. Coming up, taking precautions ahead of a possible surge.
The White House extends the COVID public health emergency for another 3 months as doctors warn of a possible new surge. I'm Jonathan Hunt in Los Angeles. I've got the details coming up.
The White House extended the COVID public health emergency, making more resources available as doctors scramble to contain the new Omicron subvariant. Fox News chief correspondent Jonathan Hunt has more from Los Angeles.
The Biden administration says the COVID outbreak isn't over yet. HHS Secretary Javier Becerra officially extending the COVID public health emergency until at least April as a dangerous new variant spreads quickly across the country. The declaration allows the feds to protect health insurance coverage, give hospitals greater funding and flexibility, and expand services for patients. This is the 11th time it's been extended since the outbreak started, underscoring the difficulty of containing an outbreak now in its 4th year. The announcement comes as the new variant, XBB.1.5, now makes up almost a third of all new infections nationwide, and that number is climbing quickly. It could possibly fuel a new surge in hospitalizations, with New York and New Jersey reporting their highest levels in more than 11 months. While here in LA, the Department of Public Health is warning of a possible new surge following the holidays, with doctors noting this is the most contagious variant so far.
Though not as severe, it's causing more infections. So you're not necessarily going to have a severe case of COVID, but you are more susceptible to getting it.
The good news, the latest vaccine booster shots are proving effective in preventing severe illnesses. In Los Angeles, Jonathan Hunt, Fox News.
Chief Meteorologist Doug Ketty is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, how airports across the country are dealing with the aftermath of system outages this morning.
Hey, another mild day for us today. Temperatures pretty good as we shot into the mid-60s for afternoon highs, even though we had a lot of clouds out there, and still clouds across the region. But most of us are dry right now. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Let's check out our temperatures. Most of us still sitting into the mid-50s. Our winds are switching around to the north. They're really going to start to pick up as we get through the overnight hours tonight. Plus, these temperatures are really going to drop back later on tonight. So we got these northerly winds. They're still fairly light, kind of 5 to 10 to 15 miles per hour, where our front is calm winds. But again, they're going to start to get moving over the next couple hours. 53 in Joplin. Humidity is at 66%. Through the overnight hours, some showers picking up, switching over to a little bit of light snow late tonight into the morning hours, and most of this is gone by 10 p.m. So a very small event as it pushes through. Already getting rain popping up, Kansas, Oklahoma. Most of this is not reaching the ground. We're still kind of saturating that atmosphere, but we may get a few random showers as this batch pushes through the region. Bigger storms, look at this, severe weather just to our south, just south of Delaware County and then just south of Benton County along the cold front as it pushes through. And then you got the snow on the backside, and that's the band that we're going to keep our eyes on as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. So a few showers over the next couple hours, stopping at 2 a.m. As we continue into the morning, we get showers switching over to snow. Where you see the darker blues, that's kind of moderate snow. So we're looking at 6 a.m. snow across southeastern Kansas, Pittsburgh, Lamar. Look at our temperatures hovering just above freezing. Moving into the metro, so we'll start the day with snow. It's a short, quick little band, but it's going to be a pretty good burst on top of us. So here's 8 a.m. snow now, moderate southwestern Missouri, starting to taper off on the Kansas side. Again, temperatures hovering right at or just above freezing, and then most of this is gone by 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. Then a lot of clouds stick around and our temperatures really don't rebound too much throughout the day. So you can see those snow chances, they pop up 5 a.m., 7 a.m., and then decrease very quickly. Due to the warm ground and the shortness of the system, I don't think we're going to have a lot. I'm thinking most of us should get a dusting upwards to 1 inch across the region. But look at the winds. They're going to be howling. We're going to have winds gusting 35 to 40 at 4 a.m., 40 upwards of 45 through the morning hours, and then slowly decreasing as we get into the afternoon hours. Not expecting much in the way of impacts on the roadways, mainly wet. We are going to have high impacts with the wind, of course. Day planner sticking to the 30s most of the day, a little bit of sunshine late in the day. Plus, check this out. Wind chills by morning into the teens. This is the way it feels outside to your skin. They drop into the single digits by tomorrow night, so quite a bit colder. All right, morning snow tomorrow, then clouds. Sunshine by Friday. The weekend looks pretty good, a little windy. On Sunday, rain right back in as we head into Monday.
So we really just got to get through like 2 days and then
pretty
much back
the
to
weekend
normal.
looks pretty good.
Yeah, I like that. All right, thank you, Doug.
Yep.
Coming up, more trouble at airports across the country.
A nationwide ground stop Wednesday morning causing a travel headache for many. I'm Lauren Blanchard with more on what happened and what's being done to stop it from happening again.
It's been a travel nightmare today as thousands of U.S. flights were grounded after a key safety system went down early this morning. While the nationwide ground stop has been lifted, the ripple effect has travelers frustrated and lawmakers calling for answers. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard is in Arlington, Virginia with more.
Travelers facing a headache at airports nationwide. Thousands of U.S. flights delayed or canceled Wednesday.
It's an inconvenience. It's stressful. It's very stressful.
A safety system used by the government failed overnight and forced a mandatory ground stop for all domestic flights. It was lifted just before 9 a.m. Eastern and flights began to take off again, but the ripple effect was felt across the country.
They saw the problem, they fixed it, everything's flowing again.
The Transportation Department launching a review into why the Notice to Air Mission or NOTAM system went down. It provides pilots information on potential issues they may face. It's unclear what caused the problem.
We do not have evidence that this outage was caused by a cyber attack. The FAA is working aggressively to get to the bottom of the root causes for the system outage so that it does not happen again.
This travel nightmare and the one over the holidays has many politicians and travelers asking why the airline industry has struggled so much recently to get passengers to their destinations.
I had this happen to me last week twice, so it feels like just another day.
The chairman of the House Transportation Committee says he wants the FAA to give all members of Congress a briefing on what happened as soon as they know more. At Reagan National Airport, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Up next, we'll check out the newest addition to the Girl Scout cookie lineup and how you at home can get your hands on some. In case you need something to look forward to, Girl Scout cookie season is right around the corner. And this year, National Girl Scouts have a new sponsor and a new cookie. Introducing the highly anticipated Raspberry Rally cookie, but you can only buy the new cookie online. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. A Pittsburgh church hosts a welcome dinner for new international students attending Pitt State. Plus,
a new report reveals climate fuel disasters came at a steep cost for the U.S. in 2022. I'm David Lee Miller in New York. I'll have those details coming up.
Pitt State and International Friends of Pittsburgh are welcoming international students by hosting them to some home-cooked meals and companions. KOAM Shagun Bamdali has more.
The first day of New International Student Orientation Week kicks off, a time for international students to get acquainted with their new community.
This is a night where International Friends of Pittsburgh helps tell them about friendship families and different organizations and what resources are available for them.
The orientation party is geared towards making new students feel comfortable and making sure they know about the new resources they need.
Have someone to come to welcome them to their homes. It just kind of makes the homesickness feel a little bit less and just helps them feel comfortable in Pittsburgh while they're here studying.
Speaking to some new students, they tell me how excited they feel for the future that lies ahead.
Excited about the course, about the college and the environment that I'm getting here. I'm pretty much excited about that, and I feel so much happy about the things they are coming through, that they are explaining me with all the things that the university provides us.
Being in my west part of America, because it gave me a great experience. I felt the student life, and I'm growing as a professional in my field, in my major.
One international student volunteer says some new students are anxious.
I can tell that a lot of them are confused, and that's one of the things that we want to be here for as orientation leaders, to help them not be so confused and make sense of the new culture they're experiencing. But I also see a lot of excitement, and I think that's really fun, and I can remember that excitement too.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Shagun Bamdele, KOAM News.
The orientation dinner took place at the Activity Center of St. John's Lutheran Church. Some help is on the way for those in need in the 4 states. Ajinomoto Foods North America donated $1,000 to the Ronald McDonald House Charities of the 4 states today. The company made the donation to show that they appreciate the Joplin community.
You know, we rely on these community partnerships, and this is such an exciting because it's a new community partnership we are establishing. We have great, wonderful, nearly 25-year community partnerships, and now we're starting this new one, and they help us do what we do here.
Another local organization, Sweet Peas, donated tiny graduation hats and pins to mark milestones in kids. Home Depot in Joplin today hosted a screening of a new documentary-style short film that looks at disaster relief efforts surrounding the Joplin tornado. The film is called Hope Builds and was produced by the Home Depot. Today's event also featured a panel discussion with the film's director and a tour of the building's new storm shelter.
I think that, these are all really tragic stories, but I do hope that there's some element of hope in them, that, this is also about people picking the scraps up after a terrible thing has happened and kind of putting their lives back together and finding some support and some sense of community.
Joplin Mayor Doug Lawson was in attendance and even received his own personalized orange apron. The head of the Consumer Product Safety Commission told Bloomberg News the agency is considering a ban on gas stoves as evidence mounts that they're a risk to human health. In addition to climate change concerns, a December study found that gas stoves are linked to 13% of child asthma cases. The American Gas Association said efforts to ban gas stoves should raise alarm bells for 187 million Americans who depend on them. Already more than 20 states and dozens of U.S. cities have banned gas stoves at the local level. It's no secret the U.S. experienced some pretty catastrophic weather events this past year. But what we didn't know was the true price tag of all those storms until now. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, releasing a report, breaks down the 2022 disaster cost. Fox News correspondent David Lee Miller has the latest on that report.
Major weather events and an ongoing climate crisis taking a costly toll on the U.S. last year. A new report by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration reveals the cost of extreme weather disasters totaled over $165 billion in 2022 for the U.S.
People are seeing the impacts of a changing climate system where they live, work, and play on a regular basis.
One of the driving forces behind that multi-billion-dollar figure, Hurricane Ian, which accounted for nearly $113 billion, and the impact of drought conditions on the western half of the country. NOAA cataloged 18 major systems, many topping $1 billion in losses. These disasters ranging from hurricanes and severe weather events to floods and severe droughts.
We can see how drought is tens of billions of dollars of damage across many different industries: agriculture, tourism, water resources, and commerce at large, as it's a critical resource for us to better manage.
Since 1980, the number of days between billion-dollar disasters dropped from 82 to just 18.
With a changing climate, Buckle up. More extreme events are expected, and as a result, we're seeing a growing need for climate services to help protect lives, livelihoods, and lifestyles.
According to the report, the cost of 2022's climate-fueled disasters ranks as the third highest of any year since 1980. In New York, David Lee Miller, Fox News.
A bit later, a dry winter causing problems for some businesses.
Below average snowfall and unusually high temperatures are spelling trouble for some ski and snowplow businesses. I'm Marianne Rafferty. I've got details coming up.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice warm day or mild day for us today. And still, it's actually fairly mild outside right now, but we are going to start to cool down quite a bit as we go through the overnight hours. We are sitting at about 52, 53 degrees, which is pretty chilly across the region. And our winds are really going to start to pick up. We already have northerly winds at about 5 to 10, but these are going to get cranking as we go through the overnight hours tonight. 7th range line currently outside 53 northerly winds at 3, humidity of 66%, a few showers over the next couple hours, and then a real quick band of very light snow early in the morning, and then just mostly cloudy skies throughout the day. But look at the rain increasing. This is not reaching the ground across southeastern Kansas. There may be a couple little sprinkles, but most of that is not reaching the ground. We got thunderstorms to our south, Benton County, just northwest of Fort Smith, into western parts of Arkansas, and then on the other edge, we have a little bit of light snow out across western parts of Kansas, and that's what we're going to keep our eyes on as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. All right, let's go through time. Here's 2 a.m. cooling down, most of us sitting into lower 40s at this point in time, winds starting to pick up. As we continue through the night, a band of light snow, some pockets of moderate snow where you see the darker blues start to increase. 4 a.m. As we continue, let's go to 6 a.m., moving into the metro, some moderate snow, Pittsburgh, back toward Chautauqua, Coffeyville, and all the way up toward Nevada. As we continue into the morning hours, here's 8 a.m. Most of us light to moderate snow, and then it quickly shifts out. By 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, it's completely gone. So it just doesn't last long. Plus our temperatures through the entire event hovering just above freezing. So we're not going to have a lot of issues on the roadways, but something we'll keep our eyes on. High temps tomorrow only into the upper 30s for highs. So here's that shot of snow, 5 a.m., 7 a.m., and then it decreases. Snow forecast, I think most of us are dusting upwards to an inch, better shot for an inch here on the Missouri side, especially once you get closer toward Stockton Lake. And the winds are really going to be moving. Look at our wind gusts. By morning, 35 to 40, they increase to 40 to 45, and then slowly taper as we go through the daytime hours. But with cooler temperatures, of course, we're going to have some cold wind chills. So I'm going to keep the impacts fairly low, snow and ice on the roadways. The cold, it's not brutally cold, but the wind impact is going to be on the high side. Day planner for you, that morning snow sitting into the 30s most of the day. Plus our wind chill factors go down. So by 10 in the morning, it's going to feel like 13, 14 degrees, single digits for us tomorrow night. All right, morning snow tomorrow. Friday, cool but sunny. Chilly over the weekend, but not bad. Windy by Sunday. Showers move right back in on Monday and Wednesday of next week.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it looks like a good forecast.
Yeah,
and
not too bad.
Just got to make it through, what, 32 hours or so, and then we're all
just
good?
Tomorrow's morning, and then it's okay.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Doug. Webb City High School names a new head football coach today. The school has announced that assistant coach Ryan McFarland will be the new leader of the Cardinals football program. McFarland has served as an assistant coach for the Webb City for the last 2 seasons under John Roderick. Prior to that, he spent time as head coach in both Riverton and Seneca. But it's a bit of a homecoming for McFarland, who also played for Webb City.
It's really been a surreal feeling. I mean, it's something where I've thought about it, and it's, replacing Coach Roderick, and I always known that it was a possibility, but for the day to actually be here is kind of, I kind of feel like I'm in a dream.
You can check out our full interview with Coach McFarland on our KOAM YouTube page. Up next, we'll learn about how a lack of snow in different parts of the world is impacting skiing. We're deep into the winter months, but for many across the country, it feels like anything but a winter wonderland. Fox News correspondent Marion Rafferty takes a look at how low snowfall and higher temperatures are spelling trouble for skiers and snowplows.
It may be winter, but for portions of the U.S. and popular winter vacation destinations overseas, a lack of snow and unusually warm temperatures have some ski and snowplow businesses concerned.
Climate change is really scary. I also am nervous for the people who make their lives in the winter mountains, and their livelihoods are very much connected to tourism, and if there's no ski, there's probably not as much tourism.
In Switzerland, thermometers recently reached a record of 70 degrees, stripping famous slopes of their flakes and forcing the ones that haven't closed to heavily rely on artificial snow. Ski resort employees are noticing a dip in customers.
We have a decrease in usage of around 35 to 40% if we compare it to last year, which was a very good year.
While those showing up to ski are questioning the fate of their hobby.
My children are learning to ski, and the thought crossed our mind, is it worth it to put them on the slope and make them live these joyful moments now, when we don't know what it will be in the future?
In the U.S., a similar story with Atlantic City, Baltimore, New York City, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. receiving no measurable snow so far.
It's scheduled to be warm for probably the rest of the month, at least above average. So we're not anticipating much work until probably February.
To date, forecasters are also noticing below average snowfall along the East Coast from Maine down to North Carolina. Marianne Rafferty, Fox News.
Coming up, we'll check out the nominations for this year's Screen Actors Guild Awards. Hollywood is keeping the award season momentum going with the Screen Actors Guild Awards up next. Nominees for that show were just announced, and we have a recap of the film and TV stars that are up for those awards, plus a big announcement from the show and where to watch going forward. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
What kind of movie are we gonna make? Actors are honoring fellow actors' performances of the past year with nominees for the 29th Annual Screen Actors Guild Awards.
Just tell me what I've done to you.
Leading the way with 5 nods are the dark comedy about a friendship ending, The Banshees of Inisherin, and multiverse mega hit Everything Everywhere All at Once. Both go for top title of Outstanding Performance by a Cast in a Motion Picture, along with Steven Spielberg's semi-autobiographical The Fabelmans, the drama Women Talking, and old Hollywood tale Babylon.
Who's here to see Saul Goodman?
TV drama ensembles recognized: stars of the final season of Better Call Saul, Ozark's final season, season 1 of Severance, the most recent chapter of The Crown, and The White Lotus Mystery, a fun one for one of the morning's announcers, cast member Haley Lou Richardson.
It is time to get this party started.
Comedic casts going for Ensemble Gold are Abbott Elementary, Barry, The Bear, Hacks, and Only Murders in the Building. Individual nods include new Golden Globes winners Everything's Michelle Yeoh and Kiwi Kwan, Banshee's Colin Farrell, Elvis's Austin Butler, Tar's Cate Blanchett, and Angela Bassett for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Black Panther Wakanda Forever is one of the movies up for awesome stunt work, along with Avatar The Way of Water, The Batman, Top Gun Maverick, and The Woman King. Outstanding action performance by an ensemble on TV nominees are Andor, The Boys, House of the Dragon, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, and Stranger Things.
War is coming.
The SAG Awards also announced a new partnership with Netflix. The ceremony will be live on the streamer's YouTube channel February 26th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
We're going to introduce you to a pillar of the KOAM team that you may have never heard of after the break. We'll be right back. We've seen a lot of KOAM TV coworkers come and go over the years, but none who've been around longer than one guy we affectionately call the Wizard. He's been conjuring up TV magic from behind the curtain for 47 years. Now he's decided to begin a long-earned retirement, but we can't say goodbye without saying hello. So KOAM's Dow Quick introduces you to an old friend you've never met.
Wanted to do this in the control room because it is one of the few things that has been at this TV station longer than we have.
Control room, that's misnamed from the very beginning.
He knows the station inside and out. You might not know his name or face, but generations of KOAM viewers know the voice.
You've been watching KOAM TV, Pittsburgh, Joplin.
Dale Switzer was a young 20-something when he and his new bride made the trip to their new home for his new job at KOAM TV. That was in 1975. In the decades since, Dale has been a lot more than an announcer. He's made appearances on live TV.
I was hoping we would have some good weather to talk about today. I like to be associated with good weather.
And in commercials.
Dang, man, but nobody's going to care what kind of boots you wear to a bank robbery.
And pulled levers behind the scenes, directing music shows and kids shows and newscasts, long enough to work alongside hundreds of colleagues. Some you've forgotten, and some might seem familiar.
My son had a way of saying his name.
What was that?
Brian Williams.
In his early days as the station's artist, Dale sketched the ads that appeared in local newspapers and TV Guide, and never stopped creating caricatures of coworkers as they moved on to other jobs.
They were leaving, I believe, just to get those drawings, I'm pretty sure.
Dale mastered digital art when computers were still young. As the technology evolved, Dale's creations did too, in commercials, special projects, and documentaries. Even in retirement, Dale will continue finding creative outlets in projects such as his personal websites. You want to check out lovewellhistory.com.
I've been neglecting lately, but get back into that.
Happy retirement. And here's to you for enriching the lives of four-staters for nearly half a century in ways they never knew. It's about time they knew your name, Dale Switzer.
Thanks for pulling me out into the light.
Cheers.
Briefly.
We recorded a roughly 1 hour conversation with Dale as he gives us an inside look at the history of this TV station and the people behind it. You can see that entire discussion on the KOAM YouTube page. It's titled 47 Years of KOAM History with Dale Switzer. You'll hear some behind the scenes stories you've never heard before. We hope you check it out. You can go directly to our KOAM YouTube page with this QR code or look for the link on KOAMnewsnow.com and on our Facebook page. Well, that's our time for tonight, and thank you guys so much for joining us. But before you go, we'll leave you with the video of puppies playing with cubs of different animals at a Chinese zoo. Be safe and do this all again. We'll see you then.